I'm about to say something that a lot of Canadians know, but feel they couldn't say publicly. Black Lives Matter is an embarrassment of an organization. We are hitting the 2-year mark since Derek Chauvin tragically killed George Floyd in Minneapolis. And Black Lives Matter is just now getting around to releasing audited financial statements about what they've done with the $90 million raised in the last 2 years. And it has affirmed what many of its critics have said, that financial mismanagement is rife within the Black Lives Matter organization. But Canada has been brought into this whole financial mismanagement fiasco as well. The Washington Examiner did an investigative report and found that BLM gave its Canada chapter almost 10% of that $90 million. $8 million went to BLM Canada to purchase a mansion for BLM Canada to host dance parties and meetings where they can plot a failed strategy to defund our police departments. Interestingly enough, the Washington Examiner notes that BLM Canada only asked for $5 million. So why exactly would the Global Foundation give them 8? Well, there are some personal relationships at play. The former executive director, Patrice Cullors, her spouse, sits on the board of directors of BLM Canada. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on here. And if I were one of those people who gave my money to BLM, I'd be pretty upset right now. If I were one of these corporations like the Ford Foundation or Amazon, if I were a wealthy individual who donated, I'd be sitting here thinking, wow, when George Floyd was killed, I didn't think that I would be sponsoring a small group of people to become real estate moguls. And yet that is exactly what's happened. So why aren't we seeing more outrage from BLM's donors? Why aren't we seeing media organizations that gave BLM endless free media coverage talking about this? Well, the reality is, and this is something that Batya Ungar-Sargon recently wrote in Spiked magazine, that maybe it wasn't about actually helping people in the first place. Batya from Newsweek suggests that the reason these donors gave to BLM in the first place was not because they had some compulsion to help working middle-class Black families, but because they wanted to feel better, that these liberal donors wanted to feel good about themselves, maybe to satisfy their own white guilt, feel better about their own, quote, white privilege. And if that's what they wanted in the first place, was just to feel better, then that objective's already been reached. At that point, they don't really care so much about where the money goes. The next time a tragedy strikes and BLM comes out with its hands open asking for your money, give to the local organizations making a difference in our country, to the nonprofits that offer mentorship and tutoring supports. I'm thinking of groups that are actually in the neighborhoods making a difference for everyday people's lives. Stop giving our money to a global fundraising racket.